Hello and welcome to the January 25th, 2026 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we're paying for this project of ours. We're live every Sunday, and I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nick's News YouTube channel. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we're bombarded with on a daily basis with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like Industry Tap, Live Science, Positive.News, and GoodGoodGood.co, but we appreciate everything sent in by you, the Nick's Newsies. Good evening, everybody. If you are looking at the chat, we did start just a hair late because there's some craziness going on. So right here is our Emperor Scorpion, Little John. And up until this point, ever since I got him, I have not seen him eat. Now, when I got him, there were a lot of crickets in his enclosure, and usually if an Emperor Scorpion is overfed, then they will go quite a while without eating again. I'd heard a sound, and I turn around, and he is consuming an entire cricket like it's a chicken, and he's just ramming it down his throat. So, good job, Little John. It's good to see that you have an appetite. Oh, man. Bug husbandry is wild. News Brew. The variety of beer in the world can be staggering at times, between lagers, porters, stouts, sours, and variations of every category. A style that I enjoy quite a bit is a specific subsection of porters. This beautiful bottle is barrel-aged Eastern Standard. It's exactly that kind of subsection. It's a 10.2% ABV Baltic Porter from Florian East Lagers Ales, and it was aged in Wild Turkey Bourbon Barrels. It came highly rated from everybody that I talked to about it, so I can't wait to try out this news brew. We've got our Harpoon Snifter, limited edition Harpoon Snifter, because that is what you drink a Baltic Porter in. And because we have a bottle, the return of the Balisong bottle opener. I have had this thing for so long. I'm still not as good with it as you'd think I should be. So, come on. There we go. Let's get into the theatrics of a 5-minute pour. Ooh, look at that color. It's a very, very beautiful brownish red almost. There's like a red tint to it. Baltic porters tend to not be as heavy or as dark as their normal porters are. So that is a really beautiful beer. Also, hello Nico, hello Christian, and hello everybody. I'm glad to have everyone tonight. So glad to chat with everyone tonight. Shout outs. SB Mow It Forward's mission is to lend a hand where it's needed most. They help individuals tackle essential tasks that they can't manage on their own due to limited resources or physical challenges. At the same time, they are committed to empowering future entrepreneurs in the lawn and landscape industry by offering the tools, guidance, and support they need to launch and grow successful businesses. It's about building community, creating opportunities, and inspiring the next generation to serve. We have included the links to their socials below in the description of this video. Like and share so the word gets out. The more people know about this, the more people can be helped. To SB Mow It Forward, cheers. Wow. That is a lot of big and bold flavor, followed up by that Wild Turkey Bourbon warmth at the end. The one-upper says, through the power of LARP connections, I have remembered to arrive. Well, we're happy to have you with us, the one-upper. News quote. It is not by muscle, speed, or physical dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment. And that quote comes from Marcus Tullius Cicero, who lived from 106 BC to 43 BC, and was a Roman statesman, a lawyer, a scholar, a philosopher, an orator, a writer, and an academic skeptic. And I really like this quote because it is part of the the talking and acting sort of dichotomy of how you change things, that kind of mindset of doing and thinking and speaking, and how these things all play a big part in how they affect the world around us. And when we break that down, it is not by muscle, speed, or physical dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment. In order to achieve great things, you can't just have the physical capabilities to do such. You have to have the mental capabilities to do such. And everybody does amazing things in their lives. And they may not realize it, but yes, you do amazing things in your life. And you start by putting your mind to it, seeing your goal, and then accomplishing it. So, it is not by muscle, speed, or physical dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment. Thank you for this quote, Marcus Tullius Cicero. Cheers. Yeah, even though it's 10.2, that beer's gonna hit. So, bug update, it has been a little bit chilly in this room, and the temperature dropped below what I would consider optimal. The Midwest right now, and actually most of the United States, is under various winter weather advisories, be it cold warnings, blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, and it has been very, very cold. So I do my best to keep this room at about 75 degrees during the day, 75 to 78, and about 72 to 74 at night, but we dropped down a little lower than I wanted us to, so... Sue is spending a lot of time. Sue is our Asian forest scorpion. He's in the back. He spent a lot of this time down in his burrow where he's nice and comfy, so hasn't been coming out as much. Little John has been very restless. He's actually, this little black dot is him. He's right here. Our Emperor Scorpion is right here, like I pointed out earlier, and he's finishing that cricket that he caught. Ripley's horrifying. After that molt, Ripley has been coming out a lot more to collect water off of the tank walls when I miss the tank. She looks like she's eaten. I've provided her some food. She's horrific. And I will continue to post pictures of her on Instagram now that she's got a shiny new exoskeleton with a little more color than her last one did. And now that she's even more, frightening. I found a small, bold jumping spider, which is a species Phidippus audax, in my house. I'd seen it a few weeks ago, and I couldn't find it after that. I'm not averse to jumping spiders in my home. Jumping spiders are incredibly intelligent. They clean up other bugs, and they mostly stay out of your way. But when I saw him, I realized, it's winter. There's really not a lot that he can be picking off in this house, but there is odds and ends in my vivariums. So I caught this little jumping spider, and I've decided to name it Phil the Phidippus, and I put Phil in with Ripley. Now you'd think, Ripley's gonna pick off Phil like it's nobody's business. Well, Phil is very tiny. Phil can get away from Ripley pretty well, and Ripley is unlikely to hunt Phil when Ripley's got bigger crickets to munch on. So Phil should actually be pretty safe in there and should help to keep the place clean a little bit. And Sue's got a small wolf spider that I still haven't named. It's kind of like a dog, effectively, to Sue. So we probably need to come up with a name for that wolf spider as well. Brianna says, I've never related to a scorpion more than the scorpion that's chilling in its burrow. I agree. I mean, things have gotten so you just want to chill. You just want to cover up. You just want to be warm. And Sue's doing just that. So yeah. So now we've got Phil, the Phidippus audax, the bull jumping spider. We've got Ripley. We've got Sue. We've got Little John. We've got the Cuddle Puddle. They're doing fine. All sorts of fun bugs. Hey, Waffle. All right. That's it for the bugs. Let's get into the good news. Our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice touchy-feely articles that we like to end on. So we're going to start off in category 1, science and technology. We've got one article here, and we called this one, The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Space, which I think might have been a Brave Little Toaster movie. Or it may have been The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars. Well, this little toaster isn't going to Mars, but it is going to take a ride into the great unknown. So I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. And again, the links to all of the articles that we go over are in the description of our video if you ever want to check them out on your own. Waffle confirms it is Goes to Mars. The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars. That is pretty good. All right. NASA's Sunrise SmallSats ace tests moving closer to launch. This was published to jpl.nasa.gov on January 20th of 2026 by the folks at Jet Propulsion Laboratories. When the 6 tiny spacecraft of NASA's Sunrise Sun Radio Interferometer Space Experiment mission settle into their orbits high above Earth after launching later this year, they'll function as one giant radio dish to track the rumbles of radio bursts coming from deep within the Sun's atmosphere, or corona. Sorry, Christian just said, I'll be honest, I didn't even know there were multiple Brave Little Toaster movies. Every one of them is a gem. Those bursts are generated by solar energetic particle events that could, in extreme cases, irradiate unprotected astronauts and satellites. Tracking the radio waves they generate with Sunrise will help scientists mitigate their effects. To ensure these 6 toaster oven-sized spacecraft operate as designed for their 1-year prime mission, they underwent a rigorous campaign of testing at Utah State University's Space Dynamics Laboratory in Logan, Utah, where they were built. The campaign included thermal vacuum testing that simulated environmental conditions in Earth's orbit. Electromagnetic compatibility testing made sure the small satellite's electronic systems won't interfere with their sensitive scientific instruments. Then came vibration testing to make sure nothing breaks, falls off, rattles, or gets damaged during the launch. To simulate the kind of vibrations that the Sunrise small satellites, or SmallSats, will experience during launch, the testing team needed to simulate the vibration profile of the mission's specific ride into space. The profile depends on the type of rocket and payloads it will carry. No, they can't just pick up the toaster-sized satellite and give it a good, hearty shake. Each spacecraft was loaded with propellant to match launch mass and subjected to variation testing in all 3 axes. The objective was to make the simulated vibrations as true to the conditions of launch as possible, said Jim Lux, Sunrise Project Manager at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California. Pre- and post-test functional checks were performed, and all 6 spacecraft aced them. The heliophysics mission will launch from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida as a rideshare aboard a United Launch Alliance Vulcan Centaur rocket, sponsored by the United States Space Force's Space Systems Command. After launch, the Sunrise satellites will be delivered slightly above geosynchronous orbit, which is about 22,000 miles or 35,000 kilometers for countries that haven't landed people on the moon, in altitude. And they'll deploy their 4 telescoping antenna booms, which are each about 10 feet or 2.5 meters long, which form an X. The spacecraft will fly in formation up to 10 miles or 16 kilometers apart, creating a single large radio telescope. That's really neat how to put together it's basically like space building blocks, effectively. Instead of using one giant satellite to go and stare at the sun, we're going to take 6 little satellites and we're going to make a sort of a bigger array out of that. After the small sats communicate via NASA's Deep Space Network, which we've talked about before, as that's what's allowing us to talk to the Voyager probes that are way the hell out there, scientists will use a technique called interferometry to combine the observations, creating a single large radio telescope. This configuration will enable them to detect solar radio bursts and map the sun's magnetic field from the outer corona into interplanetary space. Hello, Fee. So no space toast, Fee asks. We have Space Jam all ready to go. Solar radio bursts are triggered after vast quantities of energy stored in the sun's magnetic field accelerate solar particles to high speeds, said Sue Lepre, Sunrise Principal Investigator at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. Jeez, if I could talk tonight. Tracking these events will not only help space agencies mitigate their damaging effects on astronauts and spacecraft, but will also add new science to our growing knowledge base of how space weather is generated and propagates throughout the solar system. The Sunrise mission will complement other NASA heliophysics missions, such as the agency's Solar Terrestrial Relations Observatory, the Parker Solar Probe, and the Solar Orbiter, an international cooperative mission between ESA, the European Space Agency, and NASA. NASA's Sunrise is a mission of opportunity under the Heliophysics Division of the agency's Science Mission Directorate at NASA headquarters in Washington. These missions are part of the Explorers program, managed by NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. The mission's science investigation is led by the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, which also provides the Science Operations Center, and the project is managed by JPL, a division of Caltech in Pasadena, California, which also provides the mission's Operations Center. The Sunrise spacecraft were built by SDL. To learn more about the Sunrise mission, there is a link, and we will probably in post put this link up for anybody to check out. But that is really cool. To everybody involved with the Sunrise mission, later this year launching 6 toaster-sized robots to create a massive solar dish, effectively, to stare at the sun and figure out some space weather. Cheers. Oh. Baltic porters drink very differently from regular porters. Well, let me tell you. Okay, so that gets us out of science and technology. We are going to move on to category 2, health and medicine. We got 2 articles in here, and we called the first one, This is How Great Ideas Snowball. And this one was sent in by Nick's Newsy Mike. So Mike, thank you very much for sending in this article to us. I will copy and paste it into the chat if y'all want to check it out. How TikTok users designed a better pill bottle for people with Parkinson's. This was published to the CBC on January 11th of 2021. Oh. Last updated January 16th, 2021. Interesting. And this article was published by CBC Radio. Jimmy Choi usually uses social media to showcase his incredible feats of athleticism. But recently, he decided to post a video of a simple task that he struggles to execute, taking his Parkinson's medication. I wanted to show people that, living with Parkinson's isn't all about breaking world records and doing push-ups and things like that, the Illinois athlete told As It Happens host Carol Off. But there is a struggle, an everyday struggle that is real. Things like getting a pill out of a pill bottle, or tying my shoes, or buttoning my shirt. Choi's TikTok video, which shows his shaking hands trying to pluck a tiny pill from its bottle, has been viewed hundreds of thousands of times, and it inspired an online community of tinkerers and designers to work together on a 3D printed solution, an accessible, Parkinson's-friendly pill bottle. It really is truly amazing to see how the community then jumped in, and folks that have no connection to Parkinson's decided, hey, you know what? I have an idea, and here's the idea. And then other folks jump in and say, hey, I love your idea. I can help you with that, Choi said. And next thing you know, we've got a prototype within days. It started when videographer Brian Aldridge saw Choi's video and decided to design a pill bottle that could better meet the athlete's needs. With Aldridge's design, the user turns a knob at the base of the bottle to isolate a single pill, which they can then pop into their mouths straight from the bottle. I looked at the design and I'm like, this is so simple and yet so groundbreaking, Choi said. It was like a mind-blowing moment for me. But Aldridge lacked a 3D printer to test out his idea, so he posted his design online and offered to share his files with anyone who wanted to improve upon it, print it, and test it out. The response was overwhelming. It kind of blew me away. At first it was elation, and then immediate dread because I didn't know if it actually worked yet, Aldridge said. I wake up to 1 million views and thousands of people offering to print it, and I'm like, oh no, what if it doesn't work? But it did work, and engineer David Exler took the design to the next level. Exler, known online as Hungry Engineer, has been coordinating with Choi, sending him bottle prototypes to test and provide feedback so he can perfect it. Exler is currently on his 5th version of Aldridge's original design and has offered to ship 50 of them free of charge to anyone who needs one in exchange for a $5 donation to the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. Aldridge said on TikTok that he's working with a patent attorney to ensure his design remains open source, meaning anyone can tinker with it and make it better. Aldridge said he hopes to set up some meetings with manufacturers soon about mass-producing it cheaply, with proceeds going to nonprofit organizations. It has less plastic in it than your average McDonald's toy, and should be priced as such, he said. Choi, meanwhile, said the bottle will help all sorts of people with Parkinson's, as well as other issues, including multiple sclerosis and tremors. There's a lot of negativity out there, especially in the last several months, Choi said. But people need to see the positive side that social media can be used for good things, and for things that are helping and making an impact, not just on one person, 2 people, but we're talking thousands of people that this will have an impact on. That is really cool. To the designer of the bottle, Brian Aldridge, the hungry engineer, David Exler, and to Jimmy Choi for promoting the idea in the first place. Cheers. The one-upper says, I'd love pill bottles like that. My tremors in the morning make it annoying as hell to get pills out some days. I think you should look into this. Yeah, check out the link that we've got, either here in the chat or in the video. I would say see if you can find an open source version of this, and if you've got someone with a 3D printer, give one a print. That's really cool. Christian says, I could hit you up. I just have to discover where the files are actually at. Really cool. And producer Donna is already looking, so expect some files in a moment. All right, next article, well, second article that we've got in Health and Medicine, we wanted to call You Can't Put a Price on Comfort. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. At-home STD tests offer new options for screening and treatment. This was published to AP News on January 13th of 2026 by Matthew Perroni. New options for testing and treating some of the most commonly sexually transmitted diseases are becoming available, a trend that experts hope will keep downward pressure on U.S. infection rates. Last year, the Food and Drug Administration approved the first at-home test that can detect 3 common infections in women: gonorrhea, chlamydia, and trichomoniasis. Jeez, I haven't heard of that one. As well as the first home-based kit for the virus that causes cervical cancer, which we actually talked about that one last Nick's News? It was pretty recent. The agency ended the year by approving 2 different drugs for gonorrhea, the first new options for the disease in decades. It's positive news after cases of sexually transmitted infections reached alarming highs before and during the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted screening, education, and treatment for sexual health nationwide. But the pandemic years also brought positive developments for testing. The same technology used for the first over-the-counter coronavirus tests is now being translated into home-based kits for syphilis and other sexually transmitted infections. Previously, the FDA had mostly limited the use of such tests to health professionals. Sexual health can be stigmatized and people can be hesitant about testing, said Dr. Ina Park, a sexual health specialist at the University of California, San Francisco. Now we have a lot of options for patients who may be wary of going into a provider's office. Testing company Visby Medical launched its 3-in-1 test for women last year, following FDA approval in March. The test includes a vaginal testing swab and a small testing device. After uploading a photo of the device, users can review the results on a mobile app. The test, which costs $150, also includes a telehealth consultation with a medical practitioner or provider who can discuss the results and prescribe antibiotics or other medication if needed. The entire process, from buying the test to getting a prescription, can take as little as 6 hours, compared with several days under the traditional testing model, says Dr. Gary Shulnick, Visby's chief medical officer. Previously, a nurse or doctor would have to collect a sample, send it out to a lab, get the results, and then schedule a follow-up appointment to discuss the results. Many patients are very hard to track down, and a lot of them, if they had a positive test result, are never treated and are lost to follow-up, said Shulnick, who is also a professor emeritus at Stanford Medical School. The FDA approved Visby's test based on study results showing that it correctly detected the 3 infections with accuracy rates around 98% or higher. That's similar to tests performed at hospitals and health clinics. Some home-based tests still require outside input to get the results. For example, in May, the FDA approved Teal Health's testing kit for HPV, the virus that causes cervical cancer. The company's Teal Wand allows women to collect their own vaginal sample, which is then placed in a tube and shipped to a laboratory for processing. Updated federal guidelines for HPV screening released earlier this month endorsed self-collection for the first time. The bacteria that causes gonorrhea has constantly evolved, developing resistance to nearly every antibiotic used to treat it. Both of the 2 new drugs can be taken by mouth, a major advantage over the current standard of care, an injection of the antibiotic ceftriaxone. There it is. Nuzolvink. Gosh, I absolutely hate reading medical terms. Nuzolvink, developed through a public-private partnership, comes in granules that dissolve in water. Blujepa from GlaxoSmithKline is a tablet that is also approved to treat urinary tract infections. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention previously recommended another drug, oral azithromycin, alongside injectable ceftriaxone, but dropped the pill from its guidance after signs that gonorrhea was growing resistant to it. We were down to 1 class of antibiotics recommended to treat gonorrhea, and we had no other good options, said Park. So to have 2 new options in the same year is very exciting. The CDC's provisional data for 2024 showed a 3rd consecutive year of fewer gonorrhea cases, and the 2nd year in a row of fewer adult cases of chlamydia and the most infectious forms of syphilis. Experts point to several factors behind the trend, including less sexual activity among young people, increased use of an antibiotic as a morning after pill to prevent infections, and more at-home screening. The new tests could drive further reductions, although some experts urge caution. As more people test at home, it could become harder to track national infection rates, which previously have been reported by a handful of large testing laboratories. Additionally, the new tests and drugs come with higher price tags that may limit access. For example, Visby's $150 test is not covered by insurance. Add to that recent Trump administration funding cuts to the CDC and other public health agencies, and there could be more challenges on the horizon. I'm feeling very optimistic about the fact that people have more testing options and also that we now have access to new drugs, Park said. What I fear is these cuts to public health are going to decrease access to sexual health care for populations who can least afford to take advantage of these new options. To all of the companies involved with coming up with new at-home tests that can help screen for sexually transmitted diseases, and also to different companies that are coming up with new drugs to combat them. In the case of gonorrhea, the first time in decades that we've come up with some new drugs. Cheers. Just topping off my beer. It's really good. All right. That's going to get us out of health and medicine. We're going to move on to category 3, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals. We've got 2 articles in this section, and we called the first one, "Hey, I heard the seals were talking behind your back." I will copy and paste this into the chat if you all want to check it out. Scientists stunned as Hawaiian monk seals reveal hidden underwater language. This was published to SciTech Daily on January 20th of 2026 by the University of Hawaii at Manoa. A recent study led by the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology, or the HIMB, Marine Mammal Research Program, MMRP, is reshaping what scientists know about the Hawaiian monk seal, Neomanychus oh boy. Well, this is science. Sometimes scientific names also throw me. Neomanychus shineslandi. I think that's how that one's pronounced. So the Hawaiian monk seal is Neomanychus shineslandi. Scientists are learning things about how they communicate underwater. Published in Royal Society Open Science, the research draws on thousands of hours of passive acoustic recordings and documents 25 different underwater call types. Producer Donna wins. She gave me a word I can't say properly. But it's not going in the dictionary. It's just a scientific word I'm bad at. This sharply expands the known vocal range of the species, which previously included only 6 calls identified from seals living in human care. Fee says, just say the word really fast. That's how I got through medical terminology. No one can tell. Neomanychus shineslandi. Hey, that wasn't too bad. Thanks, Fee. The researchers found that monk seals produce low-frequency sounds throughout the day. These vocalizations appeared consistently across the Hawaiian archipelago, and calling activity was highest in locations where seal populations were larger. Together, these findings provide an essential reference point for studying the acoustic environment for one of Hawaii's most endangered and uniquely local species. We discovered that Hawaiian monk seals, one of the world's most endangered marine mammals, are far more vocal underwater than previously known, shares Kirby Parnell, lead author of the study and a PhD candidate with the MMRP. By analyzing over 4,500 hours of recordings from across the Hawaiian archipelago, we identified more than 23,000 vocalizations representing at least 25 distinct call types. To reach these conclusions, the team deployed passive acoustic recorders at 5 important monk seal habitats, ranging from Molokai to the remote northwestern Hawaiian Islands. Their analysis revealed several major discoveries. Expanded vocal repertoire. The study documented 20 call types that had never been recorded before. Novel communication strategy. The data show that monk seals can link different sounds together to form combinational calls, a behavior that has not previously been reported in any pinniped species. And foraging calls. Researchers identified a new elemental vocalization known as the whine, produced while seals were foraging. This marks only the second known case of a seal species vocalizing during active prey pursuit. We were surprised by the sheer diversity and complexity of monk seal vocalizations, notes Parnell. The discovery of combinational calls where seals link multiple call types together suggests a previously unknown level of complexity in pinniped acoustic communication. Finding a new call type, the whine, associated with foraging behavior, was also unexpected and suggests that monk seals may use sound not only for mating or socializing, but possibly for foraging purposes as well. The Hawaiian monk seal is the only marine mammal species found exclusively in Hawaii and holds deep cultural significance. Understanding how these animals communicate is increasingly important as human activity raises background noise levels in the ocean. The research provides the first comprehensive description of free-ranging Hawaiian monk seal underwater sound production, an important step toward understanding how they use sound for critical life history events, explains Lars Bejder, Director of MMRP, Professor at HIMB, and co-author of the study. Because their vocalizations overlap with the same low-frequency range as many human-generated sounds, e.g. vessel noises, this work also helps us evaluate how ocean noise may affect communication, reproduction, and behavior in this endangered species. The findings open the door to expand use of passive acoustic monitoring as a way to track monk seal populations across their wide geographic range and safeguard the sound environments they depend on. Future studies aim to directly connect specific call types to behaviors such as swimming, foraging, social interaction, and reproduction. Another important goal is the development of automated detection tools that can monitor seal vocal activity efficiently and without disturbance, offering a long-term resource for conservation and ecosystem research. This is really neat, looking into basically how seals vocalize and using that to help protect them effectively. The research team included graduate students, undergraduate students, and recent alumni from the University of Hawaii at Manoa, along with collaborators from France and the Pacific Island Fisheries Science Center's Hawaiian Monk Seal Research Program. Manually annotating over 23,000 calls by hand is no small feat, and I have a team of interns to thank for helping with the analysis, shares Parnell. This research would also not have been possible without the support of the Hawaiian Monk Seal Research Program, who deployed and retrieved the acoustic recorders in the... Oh, dear God, what is that word? Y'all ready for Nick to butcher Hawaiian language? What is this? What is that? How do I pronounce that? I don't think your method of just saying it really fast is going to get me through this one. What is this? Papahana Makuakia. Bet. Nico says you're on your own with that one. I think it's Papahanomaquaquia. I think I got it. Close enough, says producer Donna. So the folks from the Hawaiian Monk Seal Research Program deployed and retrieved the acoustic recorders in the Papahanaumokuakea National Marine Sanctuary. I did put it in the chat. Look up. It's Papahanaumokuakea. Man, that's rough. To everybody involved with the study of monk seals and figuring out that they're a little bit more chatty than we first realized, cheers. You gotta remix it to sound like one of the songs from Lilo and Stitch. Charlie in the chat is like, this is a future remix, yeah. Papahanaumokuakea. Do with it as you will. This next article in Flora and Fauna we titled, The Only Reason You'd Want to Do Your Taxes. I will copy and paste this into the chat if you all want to check it out. The one-upper says, apparently it's Papahanaumokuakea. Papahanaumokuakea. Nice. Thank you for that, the one-upper. I can see Little John doing his nightly I'm gonna get out of here, I swear dance against that corner of the glass. This state just made it easier to save endangered animals simply by checking an extra box on your taxes. This article was published to goodgoodgood.co on January 23rd of 2026 by Megan Cook. According to the Office of Management and Budget, only 18% of Americans believe that their tax dollars are being spent the right way, while 27% admitted that they don't know how their money is being spent. But when tax season officially kicks off on January 26th, a new tax return option will be available for North Carolinians, one that lets them know exactly where that money is going. By checking a single box, taxpayers will be able to donate all or part of their tax refund to the North Carolina Non-Game and Endangered Wildlife Fund. They will join residents of California, Colorado, and Wisconsin as taxpayers who can directly fund conservation efforts that are matched by the federal government. Funds donated using the tax checkoff program amplify those provided by a federal grant for species of greatest conservation need, including listed species in North Carolina. Dr. Sarah Schweitzer, Assistant Chief of the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission's Wildlife Management Division, said in a statement. Schweitzer said that every $100 received through the program will be matched with $186 or grant funding, truly boosting wildlife conservation in North Carolina. Our dedicated and passionate biologists, agency partners, and volunteers who work tirelessly to ensure wildlife and their habitats will persist into the future for North Carolinians to enjoy, she said. From the coastal plains of Wilmington to the rippling mountains of Asheville, the state boasts 4 ecoregions brimming with wildlife. Furthermore, over 11% of North Carolina's land is home to protected wildlife areas, from 14 National Park Service locations, including Cape Hatteras National Seashore and Blue Ridge Parkway, 4 national forests, the Pisgah, Nantahala, Croatan, and Iwari, and 11 national wildlife refuges. Funds from the tax program will go towards wildlife monitoring efforts for endangered species such as the red wolf, the hickory nut gorge green salamander, the river frog, the diamondback terrapin, and the northern gray tree frog. Schweitzer said that the majority of conservation efforts will be centered on the state's western Appalachian region, where vulnerable species are still recovering from the devastation of Hurricane Helene. In western North Carolina especially, she said, donations will help us address the immense impacts of Hurricane Helene on species such as the eastern hellbender, the bog turtle, the gray bat, the Carolina northern flying squirrel, and several high-elevation migratory birds. To everybody involved with getting a box added to taxes in North Carolina where you can put money towards wildlife funds to help with conservation efforts in that state and many others. Cheers. All right, that finishes up Flora and Fauna. We are going to move on to Category 4, the Wholesome Notes, and we've got 2 articles to wrap things up tonight on. We call this first one, This is How You Design with Inclusion. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if you all want to check it out. Barbie introduces the first autistic Barbie doll, championing representation for children through play. This was published to Mattel's corporate website on January 11th of 2026 by the Mattel Company, or Mattel Inc. Mattel Inc. unveiled today its first ever autistic Barbie. Yes, producer Donna just said Little John is on his log hide. He just went crawling over to the other side to go hide. If anyone is watching for him. Oh, he came back out. He's right here. He's a little fat and happy after that cricket. I'll start over. Mattel Inc. unveiled today its first ever autistic Barbie doll created with guidance from the autistic community to represent common ways autistic people may experience, process, and communicate about the world around them. This doll invites more children to see themselves represented in Barbie. Developed for more than 18 months in partnership with ASAN, a nonprofit disability rights organization run by and for autistic people that advocates for the rights of the autistic community, this doll joins the Barbie Fashionistas collection, which features the most diverse range of skin tones, hair textures, body types, and various medical conditions and disabilities. Barbie has always strived to reflect the world kids see and the possibilities they imagine, and we're proud to introduce our first autistic Barbie as part of that ongoing work, said Jamie Sigelman, global head of Dolls Mattel. The doll, designed with guidance from the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, helps to expand what inclusion looks like in the toy aisle and beyond because every child deserves to see themselves in Barbie. Sorry, got something in my throat. In close collaboration with ASAN, the Barbie design team made intentional design choices for the autistic Barbie doll to authentically reflect some experiences individuals on the autistic spectrum may relate to. The autistic Barbie doll features and accessories include the body. The autistic Barbie doll features elbow and wrist articulation, enabling stimming, hand flapping, and other hand gestures that some members of the autistic community use to process sensory information or express excitement. Eye gaze. The doll is designed with an eye gaze shifted slightly to the side, which reflects how some members of the autistic community may avoid direct eye contact. Accessories. Each doll comes with a pink finger clip fidget spinner, noise-canceling headphones, and a tablet. The doll holds a pink finger clip fidget spinner that actually spins, offering a sensory outlet that can help reduce stress and improve focus. Pink noise-canceling headphones rest on top of the doll's head as a helpful and fashionable accessory that reduces sensory overload by blocking out background noise. A pink tablet showing symbol-based augmentative and alternative communication apps, or AACs, on its screen serves as a tool to help with everyday communication. The doll wears a loose-fitting purple pinstripe A-line dress with short sleeves and a flowy skirt that provides less fabric-to-skin contact. Purple shoes complete the outfit with flat soles to promote stability and ease of movement. As proud members of the autistic community, our ASAN team were thrilled to help create the first ever autistic Barbie doll. Or autistic, sorry, not artistic, autistic Barbie doll. It is so important for young autistic people to see authentic, joyful representations of themselves. And that's exactly what this doll is. Partnering with Barbie allowed us to share insights and guidance throughout the design process to ensure the doll fully represents and celebrates the autistic community, including the tools that help us be independent. We're honored to see this milestone come to life, and we will keep pushing for more representation like this that supports our community in dreaming big and living proud. Colin Killick, Executive Director, Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, or the ASAN. As part of the doll launch, Barbie is teaming up with advocates for the autistic community, including mother-daughter duo Precious and Miko Mirage, autism advocate and creative entrepreneur Madison Marilla, an autistic fashion designer and visual artist Arushi Pratap, to celebrate their lived experiences and lifestyles. The Barbie team filmed a unique video with them to capture and honor their personal experience with autism, and delighted reactions to seeing the autistic Barbie doll for the first time. The video is available to view on the Mattel YouTube channel. Sorry. Oh. I've done a lot of talking this weekend. Whew. Oh. All right. Dolls have always brought me comfort, stability, and joy. I've been collecting Barbie dolls since I was 4 years old, and now this autistic Barbie will be one of my favorites, said Madison Merla, autism advocate and creative entrepreneur. My good friend said these words to me: let yourself out and don't hold yourself in. And it taught me how to educate people about autism. This autistic Barbie makes me feel truly seen and heard. I hope all the kids I've mentored feel the same when they see her, and I hope people who aren't autistic feel educated and gain a better understanding of autism when they see this doll. Consistent with the Fashionistas dolls representing individuals with type 1 diabetes, Down syndrome, and blindness, the autistic Barbie doll was named and created with the community's guidance to allow more children to see themselves in Barbie. This doll, along with the entire Fashionistas collection, boasts over 175 plus looks, can help children better understand the world around them by encouraging doll play outside of a child's own lived experience. It's yet another step in making the Barbie brand a more inclusive reflection of the children who play with it. Building on the importance of feeling understood and connected through play, beginning in 2020, Barbie set out to research the short and long-term benefits of doll play through a multi-year study with researchers at Cardiff University, finding that playing with dolls activates parts of children's brains involved in empathy and social processing skills. In recent years, the study has continued to build on these findings, suggesting that doll play could help develop social skills for all children, including those who display neurodivergent traits commonly associated with autism. To celebrate the launch, Barbie will donate more than 1,000 autistic Barbie dolls to leading pediatric hospitals that provide specialized services for children on the autism spectrum, including Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C., Children's Hospital Los Angeles, or CHLA, and Rady Children's Hospital, Orange County. This donation is intended to bring moments of joy, comfort, and representation to the community, reinforcing the power of play to foster connection and confidence. The autistic Barbie doll is now available on Mattel Shop and from major retailers. To everybody involved between Mattel and the ASAN to continue to create dolls and through toy play, being able to reach more people, the people that are representative, or to make dolls that are representative of the people playing with them, and including this new line of autistic Barbie dolls. Cheers. I have done a ton of talking, and I can actually feel I'm losing my voice as we go, so we got one article left for tonight. And we took a line out of this article and called it, focused on it, Harboring Hope. Nico says I'm doing good. Thank you very much, Nico. I appreciate that. let me copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to check it out. Oh, thank you for all the hearts in the chat. I appreciate that. I'm really, really trying to get through this. All right. Coffee shop transforms anti-immigrant comment into a fundraiser for neighbors amid ICE raids. This was published at goodgoodgood.co on January 21st of 2026 by Megan Cook. As small businesses, churches, and entire communities speak out against the increased presence of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement across the country, one coffee shop in Portland, Oregon, drew a hard line on social media when it comes to protecting their immigrant neighbors. If ICE shows up at our door, our baristas know how to properly refuse both entry and service. Heretic Coffee posted on Instagram on January 12th. If they flash a warrant, we know exactly what to look for on that piece of paper. If they circle our parking lot waiting for customers to leave, we have an exit strategy that we don't talk about publicly. Y'all can sleep in our shop if they don't leave, they added. We usually got burritos left over, so dinner is on us. Josh, the owner of Heretic, told Good why he felt compelled to share their official stance on social media. It's important that people know that we, 1, know our rights. 2, Heretic is a safe place. And 3, we will defend our community, both immigrant and American-born, to every single extent we legally can, Josh explained via email. American or not, if you are in our shop or our city, you are our family. And families protect each other. Despite an outpouring of support in the comment section, Heretic's pledge prompted a reply from one individual who wrote, "It will be great when you get arrested for harboring hope they tape your perp walk." "Hey," the coffee shop responded, "the missing punctuation in your comment has inspired us. Looks like we need to make some harboring hope stickers. Maybe every sticker sold goes to feeding our immigrant neighbors." Within the week, Heretic partnered with Sticker Junkie to release Harboring Hope stickers, alongside Everyone is Worthy of a Latte stickers, which harkened back to another viral social media exchange that Heretic dealt with in November, promising that 100% of the profits will be used to feed our immigrant neighbors in Portland, Oregon. By pairing the sticker campaign with Jen's Pastries hand-frosted Paris Todos cookies, which means for everyone, Josh told Good that they were hoping to donate close to $10,000 to the immigrant community. For months, Heretic Coffee has made a habit of sticking up for neighbors in need. On November 1st, when SNAP benefits were suspended for an estimated 42 million Americans, they immediately began offering free SNAP breakfasts to anyone who asked. "If your SNAP benefits are running out, then breakfast is on us," the coffee shop posted to Threads. "No one should have to worry about their next meal. Portland fam, we know it's not much, but we'll do our best to keep you fed, starting November 1st, each day, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Heretic Coffee's efforts quickly went viral, raising over $310,000 from more than 11,000 donors around the globe. Norway, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, Egypt, and that's just the emails I've been able to get to, Josh posted on Instagram on October 30th. All around the country, there are coffee shops, restaurants, and cafes offering SNAP breakfasts, SNAP lunches, and SNAP dinners. "We've said it on every post. When the system fails us, it's up to us to take care of each other," he added. And the world, yes, literally the world, has done just that. By January 21st, Heretic estimated that their donations had reached close to $380,000. Although SNAP benefits have been reinstated in that time, many recipients have continued to bear the brunt of the Trump administration's changing protocols as new eligibility requirements restrict funds nationwide. And throughout it all, Heretic has continued offering SNAP meals to hungry neighbors. Today, 33 people didn't go hungry, the coffee shop posted to Threads on January 20th, adding to what's become a daily tradition of updating followers on the amount of free SNAP meals provided. When it comes to social media engagement, Heretic continues to be very active and transparent about where their money is going. Whoa. Did the camera just go crazy? Huh. Nico says, nope, looks good. On my end, I just heard something and the camera went a little screwy. Yes, it fuzzed out. Interesting. I don't know what that was. It flashed briefly. Yeah, that coincided with the sound I heard. I'll have to investigate that after the stream. We're almost through this. Fee says brightness changed a bit. Yeah, that was really interesting. I'll go look at that later. Where was I? When it comes to social media engagement, Heretic continues to be very active and transparent about where their money is going. By sharing donation announcements to Black Futures Farms, Central City Concern, the African Refugee Immigrant Organization, JSIR, and more. And every day, love wins out. 90% of the comments are overwhelmingly positive, and the other 10% is just very loud. Josh told good. It's also beautiful to see the positive comments do whatever they can to promote and support our work. That is really neat. To everybody involved with Heretic, is it Heretic Coffee? I gotta check them out. Yeah, Heretic Coffee in Portland, Oregon, providing SNAP meals to their to folks in the city and looking out for the folks who are being persecuted in this time. Basically, just thank you, Heretic Coffee, for being a champ like that. Cheers. All right. So that is it for us for tonight. 7 amazing articles, finishing off with our wholesome notes about designing with inclusion, Barbie Mattel offering the first autistic Barbie doll, and harboring hope at Heretic Coffee in Portland, Oregon. Thank you all again so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Next News YouTube page. Again, we're live every Sunday, and our next episode will be on February 1st of 2026. We encourage participation, so by all means, if you feel inclined, you can post suggestions for news brews, shout-outs, news quotes, and especially good news articles that we can present on future episodes. If you send us a bunch of articles, try to spread them out across our 4 major categories, which again were science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice ones that we like to end on. You can message us on Facebook or Instagram, or email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links are in the description below. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment on our content across all of our platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, so that we can continue to get good news and joy out into the algorithms. Please, no SEO improvement advertisements. We're not interested. It's because of all of you that Nick's News continues to grow, and I thank you all so much for that. You really are what continues to spread the good news. I am just a mouthpiece, and y'all have done so much to continue to grow Nick's News, and I can't thank you all enough for that. So, that, as always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night, and I will play us out.